Bags down, spikes on, welcome to the track. Hi, my name is Colin Weitzman. I'm going to be your host for this episode of Track World News presented by Track Barn. And today we are going to be going over the good, the bad, and the ugly from the World Championships that just happened. So we're going to be going over every single thing that we saw, the best of it, the worst of it, and the ugly things of it. So let's jump right into it.
Before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. As track athletes, we're going to be running tons of miles every week and can be really sweaty and gross after a hard day of practice, but those days are behind us. Manscaped just sent me their brand new performance package, which comes with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Look, I've tried a lot of razors in my day, but the Lawnmower 4.0 is just different. Its ceramic blade helps reduce grooming accidents, LED light allows you to shave anytime, anywhere, and since it's waterproof, you can even take it in the shower if you want. When shopping with Manscaped, use code TWN at checkout to get 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping worldwide. Show up to your next meet looking good. If you want to be the best, you gotta look the best. Link is in the description, and now back to the video.
These are 4 of the things that I saw that stuck out to me as good and positive things for either the World Championships or track and field as a whole. So overall, number 1, the performances. The performances were great. We had some really great world records be broken. I think there were 3 world records going down, the 100-meter hurdles, the 400-meter hurdles for the women, and then the men's pole vault. So we got 3 world records going down. We also had other national records and championship records that went down. And we also just had a lot of performances where the underdog won. Like there were favorites that dropped down and they were underdogs that ended up winning or getting medals. And so the drama of that was really good. The fact that we had people of all shapes and sizes and varieties winning, I think was a really, really positive thing. Because you don't always want to see the favorite win. You want to get some drama going on. And we saw that in spades. Like if you're looking at, for example, men's 1500. There's some drama where you have the favorite Jakob Ingebrigtsen coming in second there. So that was something that was exciting. You also had other ones where favorites did continue to dominate, whether that be Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce winning in the women's 100, or just overall nations doing well. Jamaica, United States, like 2 countries that won sweeps for their own nation. Very, very exciting. So the performances were great. Something else that I really liked from the World Championships, the use of tech, because I'm someone that I really enjoyed the sports science thing. If you remember that from a few years back, it's probably about a decade old now. There was an ESPN segment where they would take an athlete and say, oh yeah, this athlete throws the ball at X miles an hour, which is as fast as, a speeding bullet or whatever it was. And so they would give you the science and the data behind your favorite athletes. And I thought it was really exciting because it's like some behind the scenes stuff that you don't normally get to see. And so I thought that was really cool. And they brought stuff that's similar to that to the World Championships. And World Athletics has been doing a really great job of having this not just for the World Championship, but throughout the entire stuff. So one, for example, they would have, I guess they have little sensors in the athletes' bibs, and so it would tell you the speed in miles per hour that these athletes are running. For the pole vault and high jump, it would tell you how far over the bar they were when they were clearing, projected splits and projected amount of points for the heptathletes and the decathletes. And so they had all of this data that, in my mind, was really exciting because you can now compare that to other events and other things that you may know. Be like, wait a minute, this guy just ran 27 miles an hour. Oh my goodness, that's insane. So it's like we had those data points, which I thought were really exciting and good ones, overall. So that's something that I liked a lot. Another thing that I thought was pretty special was the fact that Travis Scott, appeared at the World Championships. It's not every day that you're getting, one of the biggest rappers in the entire world coming out to your event in Eugene, Oregon, and watching your track meet, supporting, co-signing, and actually giving a a bag and like a goodie bag and everything for all the gold medalists there as well. There was like a Cactus Jack gold medalist duffel bag with, you know, had Don Perignon, you know, Cactus Jack stuff and everything. And so I think that was great. You know, having a rapper co-sign you, I mean, we want to get more into the mainstream, and so having more of these mainstream talents, you know, coming to these meets is great. I wasn't at the World Championships at that point, but I definitely saw it from home, and it was exciting to see that, you know, that he was there. I would have liked there to have been some more, you know, messaging on that. I mean, I know we saw on the Instagram page for World Athletics, but I think there were some other opportunities that we could have done there when it comes to that event. Last one for the good that I want to cover today would be scheduling. So while I would have loved to just have back-to-back great events, I think that they did a really good job of scheduling. So you're gonna have a lot of your, you know, headlining events and a lot of your big events to be spread out throughout the week, so you have something to look forward to every single night. You're going to have good events for everyone, whether you're a field event fan or you're a sprinter or a distance fan. Like, you're gonna have good events throughout the entire thing. So you're not missing out on anything, or you're not going, you know, front heavy, and so you get everything out on the front end, and then the back half of the World Championships is bland. That wasn't the case. You had it where you had a lot of good events spread out evenly, so each evening you're closing out with something that was really good, whether it be a world record, championship record, just a really good performance, or a high octane event there. Another one that I thought of was the sports betting aspect of it. So that made things a little bit more fun for me. You know, I definitely enjoyed it, and a lot of my friends that may not be track and field fans got into track and field because they are sports betting fans, and they had the ability to do that, and whether it be make some money or you know, just have a little extra skin in the game, made it really exciting. And so I'm glad that they did that. They had it for the Olympics, then they don't really have it for any other meets, and they have it for the World Championships. So I'm hoping that these draft books, sports books, see, hey, this makes sense for us to do it more than just twice. You know, not just at the Olympics, not just at the World Championships. Let's do this at more events. I'm hoping that that's the case. Let's get into some of the bad. So starting off with that, it's the dedicated streams in the beginning. So starting off, they didn't actually have dedicated streams for each individual field event. So towards the beginning of the championships, if you were a women's pole vaulting fan or a, you know, triple jump, long jump, whatever it might be, like, if you didn't have, you know, you just weren't able to watch those events because we didn't have any streams for it. So you would only get it whenever they would show you that type of stuff, and they didn't show you that very often. And so enough people made a stink about it on Twitter, and then they started actually having those dedicated streams towards the middle part of the World Championships. But in the beginning, that wasn't there. It wasn't the case. So if you were a fan of these field events, you're just missing out completely. Or if you had a friend or a loved one or whatever it is competing there, you just weren't able to see it. So that was really annoying. They did luckily listen to the fans and put those in towards the middle and second half, but in the beginning, it was really annoying. You weren't able to see those things like the women's pole vault and other stuff going on there. Next one that I saw that was kind of bad, the variety of channels that it's on. And so I know I've mentioned this being an issue with track and field before, but it's just a product of how valuable our sport is currently. And it's the fact that it's on so many different channels and streaming services for you to actually have watched the World Championships here. Like, for example, you would have needed to watch NBC, NBCSN, USA, as well as Peacock, and I'm sure there are some other streaming sites or areas that you would have had to go to watch the World Championships. And it's annoying because sometimes it's like, okay, the morning session's here, then the evening session's here, and then if you're gonna go to the field event, you gotta go here. And so there's a lot of different ways that you gotta go. I understand that, you're not gonna have the same feed, like those individual event feeds is gonna kind of move around. I can understand that, but it would just be a lot easier and more nice if it was all one kind of channel. I know from a business perspective that it doesn't make sense for them to do that, because you're taking up for 10 days, you're gonna be taking up all the primetime slots for NBC. I don't think so. That's not gonna happen. So it's gonna move around just because business-wise and numbers-wise, it doesn't make sense. Also, a good thing I forgot for the World Championships. Apparently they had record highs for watching when it comes to the World Championships. This was the most amount of people that ever watched the World Championships, so that's a good thing. I think that hopefully that proves that it should be coming back to the United States sometime soon, because I think it was a good proof of concept that the viewership was good, the people in attendance were pretty good as well, and so hopefully that'll continue. And this one, it's hard to kind of change, so it's, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but the start times are just too late in my mind. I know it was 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. in the West Coast, and that's about as late as early as you're gonna be able to do it. You can't really start a 5 p.m. Start any earlier than 5 p.m. because, you know, people are getting off work about that time, and, you know, weekends, I guess, you know, I can understand, you know, starting a little earlier on the weekends at 4 o'clock, but it was like, by the time it was ending, I mean, even on the East Coast of the United States, it's ending around midnight. And keep in mind, this is a world championship. And so you're in the westernmost time zone that we could potentially have in the entire world. Like, if you look at all the other, I guess, areas that you're gonna have, you know, world championships, because after, you know, Eugene, Oregon, it starts rolling to the other side of the time zone by the time you get to other, you know, the other nations on the other side of the Pacific. So it was annoying where it's like, man, it's late for me in the, you know, in New Jersey. Like, I can only imagine how, you know, late it is for the people that are in, you know, Europe or Africa or Asia. You know, those are going to be, you know, weird times. I guess, you know, it eventually then starts rolling over, but it's going to be a weird time. And that's how it's going to be for all world championships. I mean, this is a world event, so every single time zone is going to have, you know, some weird times for it. But it was just kind of unfortunate because you're at the most Western time zone, so it's going to be really late for a lot of the people, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. Taking a look at some of the ugly, so things that I was like, ugh, this is just a bad look. This is a bad look for everybody. I'd say the first one has to be the rulings on this false start rules. So we saw it with the women's 100, and then we saw women's 100 meter semifinals, and then we saw it with the men's 110 meter finals. So for those that may not remember exactly what was going on, because it has been a little while. So we'll just take Devon Allen, because that was the most high profile, but it did happen to 2 other women in the 100 meter semis earlier in that afternoon. But we'll just talk about Devon Allen to make it easy. So Devon Allen is in the 110 meter hurdle final, and so he's going to be competing, and he gets a 0.0999 reaction time to the starting gun. And there's a rule that says you cannot go faster than a 0.1, because if you do that, then you're not reacting to the gun, you're anticipating the gun, and therefore, since you're anticipating it, that's a false start. And so that's a current rule that we have with the World Championships. And so it was, he got disqualified even though he reacted 0.001 too fast. And so it's a bad look, because you know, rulings is saying that the official will you know, just utilize and have all of that data to be able to assist in making their own decision. It doesn't say that it is the end all be all in the decision, and it comes from an old ruling, you know, what was it, like 50 years ago? And everyone was upset with this type of thing, because it robbed everybody of a great championship. I mean, it robs Devon Allen, because he's not able to compete in the final. It robbed Grant Holloway, because now he's not able to, he wins the championship and he's not able to compete against the best athletes like every athlete does when you're at that level. Like, you want to compete against the best. It robs the fans, because we don't get to see Devon Allen compete. It robs the world championships, because we don't get to see that, and it robs the sport as a whole, because now we're talking about this dumb rule instead of celebrating the athletes. So I'd say that was just a bad look when it came to the world championships. Like, it overall would have loved to kind of, you know, see something different there, and hopefully this will be able to be used going forward in changing the rule, because they do update the rules fairly consistently. If you remember, they had the rule where now if you step on the line in, you know, a 400, like on the inside line, doing it once, you're good to go. You have to do it, what I believe, 2 times, which it used to be a one and done rule. So they've updated these things a little bit. hopefully they will update this because it is an archaic rule that is really annoying and hurts our sport. I'm of the belief as long as you go after the gun, it should be fine. I don't care how fast you go. If you want to anticipate the gun, that's your prerogative. If you want to risk it for the biscuit, go ahead, man. Go ahead. The first one is the intros for these athletes and intros for the events were awful. It was boring. It was so boring. Outside of the 100 for the men and for the women, these intro for the events and intro for these athletes were boring. There was nothing going on. Like, you zoomed in on their photo, you gave, you gave some, stats of what's going on with their life, and then you went to the next person, did the same type of deal. And the 100, they had the flyover with the jets. That was cool. That was a really cool touch. But everyone else, it's some standard stuff. And if you go back and look at other world championships and other Olympics, what they had was, the lights would turn down. They'd have music going on, lights and stuff, everything like that. And so that was something that was really cool. And so it would intro the event, get everybody hyped up for what's going on. They don't have that. I mean, if you ask for my opinion on what I would do, introduce every athlete individually and let them have their own walk-up song like you do in the MLB. And I think that would be something that would be really cool, add some personal flair and touch to it. But otherwise, it was just boring. It's like, come on. You're having these guys all walk up to the track and that's it. I feel you had some areas of opportunity to get more creative there. Next, this is more for the in-stadium view, so the viewing experience. The overall viewing experience was really, really good, by the way. Just the way that Hayward Field is kind of situated, it was a really nice way to be able to watch everything that was going on. There's no real bad seat that I kind of noticed. One thing that does suck is that if you're on the back stretch, you're gonna be baking in the sun the entire day. So, I mean, that's just the way that, the globe kind of works. Like, you can't really change that. I guess the only other way they could have changed it was if they were to make the wall in the stadium a little bit higher so the shade comes in a little bit quicker. But besides that, the viewing experience is really, really good, for everyone that is there. The one bad thing was the in-stadium downtime and activities that were going on were bland. Like, it just wasn't fun. Like, they were playing music, which was good. I enjoyed that they were playing music, but like they would just do fan cam. Oh, let's do the fan cam, just zoom in on people's faces. And it's cool for the first, maybe 30 seconds or a minute of, oh, this is the dance cam, it's the dance cam, but it's like, if you're there for more than just one session, you're seeing the same dance cam, you're getting the same in-stadium announcers, you're getting the same kind of things going on. It gets boring. It gets really boring. And so I would have said hey, let's do maybe the shell game, or let's have some giveaways for people. They did have a proposal, which was pretty cool, towards the end there, but there were other ways they could have done more activities. So when there's time in between events, there could have been stuff going on the Jumbotron. You paid all this money for the Jumbotron, let's use it, let's make it pretty good. If I'm giving this World Championships a grade, I'm giving it a solid A-. I think that it was overall a fantastic experience. The performances were really, really good. We were able to get some awesome things going on within the arena. We had the celebrity aspect to it with celebrities coming on out to things. The scheduling was pretty solid with having events that were really great being spread out throughout the entire time. On the negative side, you did have the lackluster creativity when it came to the in-stadium kind of announcing, the Devon Allen false starting, which was really annoying. But overall, I think that this went really well. I also did like Legend a lot. I think that he fit the aspect of the World Championships really good. Like, that mascot, whoever was inside that mascot deserves more money than they got paid, because they did a really good job of making things fun, lighthearted, celebrating, bringing the signs, everything. Like, they did a really good job at doing that. And so I think that was really good. Oh, another ugly thing, I guess you could say, I think just the team award. I mean, Team USA, it's great. I'm glad that we won, but they need to change the team award, because the US is going to win it every single time, and it's not going to be close. And so it's the only point of having this is just to give the US another award. Because no other nation's going to be close to beating us, if you want to make this a little bit closer, I would say make the championship based off of like your continent. So it's like, hey, the North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, you know, Oceania. Like, I think that would make it a little bit more close, because then you'll have all the European nations and African nations. Like, I think that would make it a little bit closer, but I think North America still would dominate, because you'd have Jamaica and United States, you know, together, as well as Canada. But I think that needs some tweaking. I like the thought that went behind it. I think that it went really well, but I think there needs some more tweaking when it comes to that. But overall, great World Championships. Looking forward to Budapest next year. It should be a lot of fun. Also want to touch on the content creators. So all the content creators that were at the World Championships were phenomenal. I think every single one of them did a great job. Starting out with Sidious Mag. Sidious Mag is doing their dang thing. They were having all of these athletes coming in and doing interviews. Not only athletes, but they had, you know, Sebastian Coe, the president of the of USATF, Ashton Eaton, John Anderson, you know, the announcer for ESPN. They had all these people coming in and doing these interviews every single day, which was a lot of fun to be able to see and to hear the input from these other athletes. New Gen was doing their thing, doing these pre-meet runs. They were taking over a pizza parlor. Like, they were doing all these fun things, interacting athletes. And a couple of friends of mine, 2 black runners, Real Talk, being able to create some really good content and interviews, as well as Final Egg. You know, like, there's Final Lap, a lot of really great things that are coming out of the content creators for the World Championships, and I think everybody was doing their thing. Of course, there's more people that are to it, but I think this World Championships was good social proof that I think social media is going to be taking over track and field, and we should really focus more on social media aspect of it, because social media is where a lot of these, not only fans, but the athletes are going. And so if we can really, you know, dig into that market, I think it's gonna be good for the future. But that's going to be it for today's episode of Track World News. We're going to be talking about what are we going to look for with post-World Championships in next week's episode. So I hope that you guys enjoy that. My name's Colin. Hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Have a good one. Peace.